Rosie's driving me nuts. Hi, Crystal Balls. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video today. If this is your first time here, welcome. Please think about sticking around, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. Guys, don't forget that it is the holiday season, so please share the love, especially to the mom and pop places and your friends that are hustling, because this means the world. And if you can't afford to spend anything, then the best thing you can do for them is to like, comment, share, and subscribe to their channels, their social medias, retweeting, whatever it takes. That's free and it's worth its weight in gold. So please, please do that. And I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for being here with me, especially during the last about the last month, which has been rather difficult on me, but I appreciate all of it. I'm holding Rose because she's being kind of bad right now. Yes, this face right here is bad. So we're going to talk about Alec Baldwin today. Yes, we are. So when I was in Savannah, I just heard a fleeting bit of news about someone getting killed by Alec Baldwin. So of course my thought went to, Alec Baldwin killed a guy. I'm not surprised. But it was before I knew any details. And quite frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if Alec Baldwin strangled a man with his bare hands. Like, the guy has a temper. He's not the best person in humanity. And quite frankly, he's kind of gross. And I mean that as a human being. He just puts off this really disgusting vibe. And I can't believe in the 90s, everyone's like, ooh, Baldwins. And I lived through the 90s, guys. Yeah. So anyway, no shock at all that Alec Baldwin killed somebody. However, the circumstances of this were pretty spectacular. So for those of you who don't know, this was an accident, and I say that in air quotes because you'll see, but a poor woman named oh gosh, I'm so sorry. I forgot her name, but the poor woman, I shouldn't forget her name. That's terrible. Um, Begins with an H. It's not Hilaria because that's his wife. Um, Insert name here. Apologies, apologies, apologies. Okay. So very, very sorry. But they were on a set getting a movie called Rough, getting ready to block out a scene. And they had a prop gun and called out cold gun. Now, I want to explain something about prop guns. They aren't fake necessarily. A lot of times, they are real, and there's no really such thing as a fake gun. You have to treat every single gun as if they are real. So somewhere in the chain of command, this gun was ill-inspected, and apparently no one realized that there was a live round. Now, that's a huge issue, obviously, because it caused somebody's death, and it also caused an injury to the director. So who's responsible for this? I mean, quite frankly, everybody who handles the gun is responsible for this. This is very poor when it comes to gun safety. And I don't care what you feel about guns. If you are going to handle them, everybody who handles them is responsible for the safety of that weapon. Whether it's a cold gun or whatever, you guys are responsible. You cannot just assume or take for granted that somebody else checked that gun thoroughly. So apparently it passed through about 3 different hands before it got to Alec Baldwin. And yes, Alec Baldwin should have checked it himself. And everybody needs to remember that anytime you have a weapon in your hand, you must assume that it is loaded. Now, I don't know the exact circumstance. If it sounded like he was blocking out a scene and the gun accidentally went off or he shot, I don't know. I really don't know that part because that's kind of sketch right now, and I don't know if they're actually going to release those details, as they shouldn't, because this is an ongoing investigation. And I don't think Alec Baldwin necessarily got up this morning and said, I'm going to murder somebody. This seemed very tragic, but it also seems very suspicious because there was some sort of strike that was about ready to happen, and they went and did the scenes anyway, or the blocking anyway, without, I believe, the proper people who needed to be there. Again, I want to reiterate, every single gun, whether you can tell if it's real or not, is a real gun. You have to assume it is a real gun. You have to assume that every single gun that you handle is loaded. Unless you check it yourself, you don't know the difference. And you have to assume that this is a live gun ready to be shot and ready to cause damage. When you point a gun at somebody, that is an indication of bodily harm, even in the movies. And I don't think anybody takes gun safety that seriously. I don't know. I've never been on a Hollywood set. I don't understand what the hell what they do 99% of the time. But I would assume that the chain of responsibility should go all the way to every single person who handles the gun, including the actor, because it is your responsibility. It's not some prop department's responsibility for your safety. They can look and check and recheck, but you also have a personal responsibility to look at that gun and make sure yourself that it has been checked and there is not a live round in there. They took away something like 50,000 rounds of ammunition, which to me seems insane. I don't know. I know a lot of these movies have a lot of gunplay in them, and I am not saying one thing or another about gun rights or anything like that. I'm saying that if you are going to operate a gun, even if it's a prop gun, even if it's something that's on a movie set, you damn well better know how to handle a gun, and you better know the gun safety laws. I mean, it's not laws, but, well, it is kind of, because it's something that most people know. I mean, I have never handled a gun in my life, and I know all this shit because I grew up with people who handle guns. I grew up with people who are hunters. And, it's simple. Every gun is a loaded gun. You never assume. It's your responsibility to check. You never take somebody's word for it. Not because I think something nefarious is going to happen, because you never know what human error can happen. And if it's been checked and it's handed to you and you're like, I'm going to recheck it, well, that could have saved somebody's life. It should have been that way, but it didn't happen. So, do I think that Alec Baldwin woke up and thought he was going to kill this young woman that morning? No, I don't. But I do think it was some sort of setup, and I do think that this poor girl, maybe, I hate saying this, but she might be a sacrifice for the greater good. I know there's nefarious things going on in this world, and it's pretty rough to look at the situation and be like, okay, nothing's wrong here. It's just a horrible accident. I don't know. So Rosie and I are going to take a look at the cards and see what we can find today, because this is a very odd situation. So let's take a look, see what we can find. And again, please remember that these are real people, and it's a horrific thing that happened. You know, the woman who died had a family, and it doesn't make her any more important than anybody else if she had a family, but she was a person on this earth who was unique and special just like the rest of us, and this was something that was terrible. It should not have happened, but it did, right? So let's take a look and see what we can find here. All right, I'll be back in just 1 second. Okay, so I'm going to be using my new tarot deck I got from my friend Sam, and I don't know how to pronounce it. Anime Monday tarot card. It's a very nice deck. I really appreciate the fact that she got this for me. I love it. And then also, I just want to point out, I am selling these cups in my store on Facebook. So this is one of my favorite cups ever. So I've already shuffled the cards, and we are just going to pull some cards and see what happened here. So was this a tragic accident? Okay. This is indicating to me that there was something going on behind the scenes. I'm not necessarily saying that this is like a lover situation, but a partnership. There were two people who knew about this. They are very, very connected, as you can see here, and their cups are empty, but I believe that is an indication that this was kind of pre-planned. We'll just kind of scooch deck here. Oops. So this is interesting because this does feel very much like a death card to me. Everything in the bottom is gone and bare, but there was the bright buds at the top. They're not connected. So the woman who died was quite young. She was in her 20s, and it's like I lost a loss of innocence, loss of life, loss of innocence. I mean, I don't know. So the King of Wands, this is a fox. This is somebody that is sly like a fox. So I just have this horrible feeling that part of this was planned. And a part of this was a setup. Was Alec Baldwin set up? Was Alec Baldwin set up? Yes. Judgment. There's going to be a lot of judgment coming from this, obviously, swiftly from the public as well as police and people within the industry. This is going to change a lot of things in the industry, and maybe this was the point to bring down someone. And I feel like this was something a plot that was put into motion very hastily. However, this was not, you're going to find out that this plot was very hasty and not well put together. So you're going to be able to trace back the steps of this and figure out exactly who set this up and why they did it. It's a public outcry. It's on two levels here. It's somebody who was setting up for their own personal gain, whatever their goal is their own personal gain, and the other part of it is to send a message. And the message was sent. Roadrunner. I keep getting scapegoat. I really do think Alec Baldwin in this position was a scapegoat. He's trying to run away right now from all of these angry branches, which is telling me the branches usually signify communication. Now, he is definitely running away from a lot of things, including the press, even though he can't keep his damn mouth shut. And when it comes to a court case like this, and this is a real active live case, the man should keep his damn mouth shut. And I'm not trying to be rude here, but you already accidentally killed a woman. You just need to say, I'm sorry, and respect to the family. There's a scholarship in her name. I can't talk anymore because it's an ongoing police investigation, but he cannot shut his mouth. But he also can't outrun this. He will not be able to outrun this. And somebody's got his number, man. Somebody has really gone after him, and somebody really is, I heard it's time to pay up. So Alec Baldwin can't outrun this. This is a lot of destruction that I see. So this is almost like destruction from the inside out. So this would be what happened, the accident, and then the branching off of the fallout. So this isn't going to just affect the young woman's family who died and the director who was injured. It's going to affect the industry. It's going to affect children that were involved. It's going to affect people from now on who work in this industry. It's definitely going to affect Alec Baldwin and his family. This is fallout here. This fallout is going to be something that isn't simple. This is something that you're going to see for years. So tons of fallout for this situation that, again, I believe was pre-planned, but not by Alec Baldwin. I am not one to say this about this guy because I don't really like him, but in this situation, he was set up. He was innocent in this situation outside of being too stupid to check the gun. So this opens up a whole new world. I don't think this is going to be game-changing or life-changing for the majority of those of us working every day, because we don't work in this industry. But I do feel like there'll be a bigger push for anti-gun laws after this. And again, I'm not saying one way or another how I feel, but for a lot of people who are in Hollywood who preach against gun violence, you're very fickle because you turn around and shoot guns in your movies and make a ton of money off of it using gun violence. And you're going to start being held accountable for your fickleness and it's ridiculous. It's very ridiculous seeing all of these people sit here and preach about anti-gun laws, yet they have people who are in their lives who are bodyguards that carry guns, and they have live guns in their movies, and they make their money off of this. So it's very ironic and very, I don't know, it's kind of maddening. It's like somebody who preaches against alcohol, or complete alcoholic, but they make their money off of a character who was drinking and drunk. So it just doesn't make sense to me. And I think people are starting to finally see the cracks in this world, which is Hollywood in quotes. Hollywood is a very dark, dark, dark place. And we're seeing this also for another reason, to distract from other things that are happening around. So they want people to live in their little fish bowls and be not asking these questions. They also don't want to ask the question of why now? Why is this in the news now? All right. So the Knight of Pentacles, of course, this all has to do with money. But I feel something very different about this. This is a brave lone wolf. And I feel like there's going to be a brave lone wolf that's going to speak out. I feel like it's time for the corruption and things of Hollywood to go down. It's been going down since it started. I mean, I'm saying the stuff has happened. Terrible, horrible things have happened since it started, and people need to stop worshiping these types of people. The energy that you put into these people are very real. Hero worshiping and all of that, it's very real, and they are absorbing it. And they're starting to think that they're like this, a pure, beautiful wolf. But they are just a sheep in wolf's clothing. And they look at themselves as something as high and mighty because they are actors, or they're in an industry where there is a shit ton of money, a grotesque amount of money. Most of these movies could literally wipe out debt for many, many people. But they choose to make movies. And there's nothing wrong with entertainment, guys. There isn't, but there is something wrong when you kind of start worshiping these people because they believe that they are bigger than things. They can get away from things, and they're better than everybody else because they're an actor. And Alec Baldwin is doubly responsible because he's a producer on this show. Doubly responsible. I feel he's squirreling away money. Definitely. I mean, that's 100% what this card is squirreling away money. He's afraid. I think he's putting things in different accounts, different names, probably putting stuff under his wife and his kids' names, because yes, he's going to get hit very hard, at very least the civil lawsuit, because he did directly cause the death of this young woman. And yes, there's going to be a court case, and yes, there's going to be a civil court case, which these people are going to want restitution, and they're going to get it. And I don't know how you ever actually pay for a human life, but there are numbers out there. It is an insurance game, and it's kind of disgusting, but he's squirreling away his money. He's afraid. So what I think I see here is it wasn't an accident. I really do feel like this is something that has been plotted. I feel like this is something that is going to be a much bigger deal than what it seems. And I also feel like this is going to be something that haunts Alec Baldwin for the rest of his life. And maybe this was a test. Maybe this was something that he had a moment where this was a test for him and he failed. But somebody in my mind and in my cards clearly say that there's a setup, and he needs to stop talking. He needs to just shut his mouth and be humble for once, because that man talks and talks. And like I said, I wasn't surprised that he killed somebody. I was really expecting it to be more of a bare hand situation and a man, but not an accident. I'm saying accident in air quotes, but a setup accident. It's very tragic. So guys, Everybody has their own opinions, but please remember that this is a real woman that died. It is a tragic accident to an extent, but someone still lost their lives. So please be kind in the comments. Please, you have your opinions. That's great, but be very, very respectful as much as you can. I'm trying to be respectful myself, and just let's focus on sending love and light to the family of this young woman who died. And Alec Baldwin, your day is coming. I don't think you're going to get out of this one, because God knows what you've gotten out of before. Let's see how this plays out, because I feel like we're going to be able to see exactly what happened. I don't think it was well thought out. I don't think it was something that was, decided days and days and days earlier and many people working on it. I feel like there was a few people working on it and made this situation happen completely as a setup. But I also believe that they were fairly dumb about it, and you're going to be able to really follow what happened. So again, my reading's entertainment purposes only. I hope you guys enjoyed it, but please remember the people in this are real. If you like my cup, it will be in the description box down below where you can get it, which is on my Facebook page. Otherwise, don't forget my Patreon where there's a special. And guys, thank you so much for being here with me. I really, really appreciate you. Remember that every single day is a gift. Use your time wisely. I will see you on the next one. Bye for now.